Thank you.
So, yeah, Jim, do you have any objection to transitioning directly into this conversation
No,
with
no.
Theist about the
This might
vaccines?
actually be interesting. This might
Let's
actually be interesting.
do it. We've got John in Texas, who doesn't have any preferred pronouns, who wants to, it says just would like to discuss vaccines. So, what are we doing, John?
Hey, I guess I would like to start off by saying, kind of my perspective on how I'm going to be officially right now the relative or the friend, who is hard against, vaccines. So if you have any questions you want to ask me, feel free.
Is it all vaccines or any in particular?
I would say it's this. Well, that's what I was gonna get at. Like overall, I want to ask a question when it comes to vaccines and diseases. Do you subscribe to the idea that viruses have increased over time? Like there has just been viruses and bacteria that have kind of, I don't know, kind of popped up over the years, like that. There are new viruses and bacteria that weren't here probably.
There are new viruses, there are new
100 years
strains
ago.
of viruses all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
So
mutation happens.
Can you see the connection between the vaccines that we have been injecting in our bodies and the uprise of disease that's propagating?
No.
Is there any correlation between the two, or no? You don't see
I have not seen anything. I have not seen any research to indicate such a correlation, and it doesn't make much sense when we know we've eradicated diseases due to vaccinations. And then when we look at right now, in COVID, when we look at places like South Korea and we look at I think it's New Zealand and some of these other countries that have high rates of vaccinations, and COVID is practically wiped out. And it's a fact that if you let a virus go on long enough, it will mutate, it will change. That's just basic biology. And so had we, from day one of China announcing it, done everything like other countries did, and then as soon as the vaccine came out, made it mandatory and had a leader in charge who was encouraging people to do that, the Delta variant may very well never have arrived. We don't know that for sure. We could only play what-if games. But if you nip it in the bud early enough, then you can stop it. Pardon?
Is the mutation that occurs, is that due to evolution, in your opinion?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't. It's not my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. Evolution is the mechanism that drives it. So, like for example, like you hear about it every year with the flu vaccine, right? So you get your flu shot, comes out every year, and they talk about different strains of the flu. Those vaccines aren't causing the variations. Evolution, is why those variations happen with the different, strains of viruses and shit. The vaccines are our way of trying to protect ourselves against those. That's why the vaccines, like the flu vaccine, is a little different.
So without the vaccines, we would be basically, what is that called when a race, like an animal gets extinct? We would be an extinct race without vaccines, basically.
No, probably not. No, but we'd be much worse off.
Right? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But everyone's trying to act like the world would end if everyone didn't have a vaccine.
Well, the question isn't the world ending.
The world would be worse off, right?
No, yeah. The whole question with the vaccines is about us taking steps.
So what happened to that thing, herd immunity? That's not a thing anymore? It's only vaccines we need to depend on?
That's still a thing. There's several problems with herd immunity. One, we haven't reached it, and with the current vaccine resistance that we have, we probably won't. But herd immunity only works
John, a conversation works by two sides both speaking and both sides listening. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's, so herd immunity, there's got to be a certain percentage for it to work. Otherwise, herd immunity does not work.
A certain percentage for it to work. Okay, so you see things wrong with herd immunity, but there's nothing wrong with vaccines. It's just perfectly, there's no flaws in it whatsoever.
I have no idea what
None.
that sentence just meant.
I got to back up because like I'm trying really hard to listen and I try really hard to be charitable when I'm listening to people. I have no idea what you're talking about or where this is going. Do you have a position on vaccines?
Yeah, I'm saying that the overall vaccines weaken the overall humanity because it allows different diseases and genetic what is it called, mutations to thrive when normally they would be, you know, smothered out. It's kind of like natural selection. If where there's a genetic disease where you can't eat certain glucose because your body just can't process it. And now that you know, it's not a vaccine that they take; it's a certain diet of food.
That's not. But why would they take a? Yeah, that has nothing to do with viruses.
Well,
what are you advocating
the point
for?
is,
exactly.
the more that you allow these, you allow these ways for people who normally would not be able to survive. You give the sick more ability to propagate, and you're just going to have more sick people. Like you're
so no, that's not the way it works.
Let me know if I'm following
how do people?
The reasoning. So we've got a vaccine, or sorry, we've got a virus, something like COVID-19, where I don't know exactly what the mortality rate is. I think it's something like 3 to 5%, right, depending on other factors. So for the sake of easy math, I'm going to call it 5. Okay. If we've got a virus that 5% of the people who catch it, are not gonna do so good. They're gonna fucking die. And we look at the population of, say America, right? What we got, like 450 million people here. I don't know. So if we run the numbers on that, millions of people are gonna die. Okay. So if we have a vaccine, we have the ability to safely reduce that number and allow more people to live. Are you arguing that is a bad thing?
I thought there was that the Earth was overpopulated and that we were trying to figure out ways to.
That's not an answer to the question, John. John, that's not an answer to Kenneth's question. Would you mind answering the question?
I think it's a bad thing. I'm saying, I'm answering it. I'm trying to take into consideration the situation we're in, and you just want me to say this one thing. I literally thought that overpopulation was an issue.
So you're not going to answer the question.
That there's people dying. Well, okay. What was the question again?
World population is an issue. Sure, world population is an issue. Are you? I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. Are you trying to make the case that allowing a disease to just run rampant and kill millions of people is like a net good because of population growth concerns? Or I'm not following.
Well, I'm saying from my understanding, I thought that we were, as a society, worried about population being an issue because we're overpopulated based off of how we're living. And I think, this does contribute, the ability for people who would normally have been dead by now to still be alive. I'm not saying kill disabled people. That's not. I have disabled family members. I'm mentally disabled myself, so I'm not being like we should kill disabled people. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm just saying that naturally, the reason why we're in the position we're in as a society when it comes to overpopulation, one of them has to do with the health system that we have. The health system directly contributed to the situation we're in now with the overpopulation. I don't think naturally we would have this many people on the earth. And
let me ask you
there is a lot of disease.
If you had COVID-19, if you had COVID-19 or some other serious disease, and it was serious to the point where
I got over it, or if I got sick by it, because those are both possibilities.
I'm asking you a question. You're going to need to listen, okay? If you got COVID, I'm saying right now, if you got COVID-19 and it was serious to the point where you really needed medical intervention to save your life, would you want your life to be saved?
But okay, I guess, guys, I'm going to the next world. I'll see you later. But this whole thing is, you don't believe in...
I didn't understand. I didn't hear your answer, John.
John, yeah, you didn't answer the question.
Would you want your
I said I would
life to be
say goodbye, world. I'll go into the next one.
That opens up a whole other can of worms. But right. I'm not going to lie to you. So I don't believe you. but whether I believe you or not,
fine,
there are people who want to take advantage of life-saving medical intervention and, stay living life, stay with their families, keep doing stuff. Why would we not want to have access to that?
Falling victim to a virus does not make you weak, and it doesn't, and surviving it doesn't make you stronger. Right. It has nothing to do with any of this. And I'm just completely baffled that anybody would actually make this argument, because it just seems to be so lacking in empathy. It's so lacking in understanding of how any of this stuff works. That I am very, very baffled that anybody could take the position that we should just let viruses run their course so that people die. That is just so unethical and so immoral to me. The unhappiness that arrives because loved ones die and watching them suffer. Because they're dying of a disease, watching, having people suffer because they've got long COVID and then they're not going to be able to breathe, and having their lives completely curtailed just because, it's nature's way. I'm sorry, that just makes you evil to support that position.
What
hands
you're
down,
describing
right?
is a fucking nightmare, man. Frankly, like
Well, I'm not forcing nobody. The difference for me and y'all, or y'all trying to force people to do these things. People are willingly being like, I don't want to do this. And that's the position I take. You're trying to force people to be like,
the problem is that
your
opinion stops mattering when your actions start affecting other people. It's that old adage of you have the right to swing your fist anywhere you want until you hit somebody else's nose. And that's the problem. You do not have the right to swing your fist wherever you want. You do not have the right to spread germs wherever you want. Period. End of conversation. We've already established this. We know this already.
I'm not the one traveling the world. I'm not the one.
I'm not traveling the world either.
Let me try running
and it doesn't matter if you're traveling the world, because but the problem is that you don't understand how viruses travel.
It's not my fault.
I mean, we're not saying it is your fault. Jesus Christ. Can you stay on topic at all?
It's your fault. You need to take the virus.
John,
you know what? I'm done, Ken.
I'm responsible.
Kenny, I'm done.
John, okay. I'm gonna try one thing with you really quick, John, to see if we can't find some common ground here. Shit. What do you think about drunk driving? Do you think it's right for people to drive while drunk?
Obviously not. No, it's not good.
Why is that? Why would that be obvious, given everything else that you've just said? By driving drunk, they could decrease the population.
Somebody drinking and driving isn't the same thing as somebody choosing not to take a vaccine.
Yes, it is.
It is so analogous. It's fucking crazy. Okay. Somebody is putting other people at risk potentially for no good reason.
How are you at risk if you have the vaccine? How are you at risk if I have the antibodies? Who's at risk here?
Let me give you a hypothetical. Whoa. I know people who are immunocompromised. Okay, I know people who can't get the vaccine. There are people in our society who can't.
Yeah, Kenny, he said, how is he putting anybody at risk if he has the vaccine? Well, that's not what we're talking about at all. So, because you missed the analogy, John. The analogy is drunk driving and you have COVID. You choose to drink, you choose not to get the vaccine, which means that if you have COVID, you're now spreading it. Just like if you choose to drink to the point you get drunk and then choose to drive, you're putting people at risk. Not getting the vaccine puts people at risk the same way.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's the analogy.
And I'm around you, you're going to get. If you take the vaccine and I'm around you and I didn't, you're going to get sick.
Right now,
yes, because vaccines aren't 100%.
I don't.
Well,
I don't want to think.
Then it's not working.
You're, John. Seriously,
Jesus Christ!
I hesitate. I run into a situation in calls like this where I have a limited number of ways of looking at you right now. Like you could be a troll, which seems likely. You could actually be this confused, or you could just be like straight lying. I don't know. You could be doing stuff for attention. Like I don't know what the most charitable way of looking at this is, because I don't want to talk to you in a condescending way. I don't want to be like, you are so fucking ignorant about how vaccines work. Like, read a fucking book. Like, I don't want to be that guy. But on the other hand, it's like, what are you talking about, dude?
That vaccines allow viruses to propagate in your body. That's not a fact.
No, vaccines don't do that. Vaccines stop.
Like, what are you
vaccines
doing?
stop.
Like, honestly,
all right. I guess I'm gonna just get off. I'm gonna end the call myself.
I'm gonna assume not troll for like just a second. What are you doing to try to educate yourself about this stuff?
What am I doing? What is he talking about? I'm talking to you right now. I would hope that's some form of education.
We're not virologists. We're not vaccine researchers.
So then why are you talking about this stuff like you know what you're talking about?
If you had a sincere desire to understand what's going on with vaccines and viruses, why would you call a show that...
Where should I go?
Hey, let me interrupt for a second. The audience can hear me. He's calling you guys out for not being qualified, but let's keep in mind that our call screener happens to have a master's degree in bioscience and tried to explain this stuff to him, but told her that she's then indoctrinated and that she couldn't understand because she's a woman.
Yeah.
Oh.
What the hell?
Oh, you know
that's
what?
a lie. Because she's a woman?
Right,
my God. You need to... I wish there was a recording.
Yeah, so let's see. I know how to solve this problem. Bye-bye.
Just all the way off, Sean. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, just dropped him. Sorry, Kenny, I know you were running that, but yeah, first of all, I think he was a troll because he was all over the place.